Okay. Is everyone there? Can you hear me now?
They're gonna have to probably. Do you still have the chat open?
The old one is gone.
Okay.
Will they see that there's a new stream?
They're gonna have to probably refresh. So, but I can.
Oh, okay. I see people chatting. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Yay.
Bye.
You're welcome. Okay. Bye.
Okay. Everyone can hear me? I'm not a robot? Beautiful. Thank you all. Sorry for the mix-up on that. Had to do a little troubleshooting. Okay, so we will get back to yoga now because that's what we're here for. So give me a heads up if it still gets weird or if you can't hear me quite right. Just want to double check that no robot. Okay, beautiful. So we will start again because that's what we do. So again, we're going to get into the shoulders a little bit. Thank you all again for bearing with me as I sorted out those technical difficulties. I apologize for that. So now we definitely need some yoga to kind of zen out and reconnect. So we're going to get started laying down flat on our back. So just taking some time to settle in. And we'll start with just some very deep breaths to kind of reset and refocus. So settling in flat on your back and just taking a position that is comfortable and feels good in the body. So if that means that the knees are bent or arms are out to the sides, just finding a shape and a position that makes the most sense to you. And we're going to take a couple big inhales, filling up the belly completely. And then opening the mouth, letting all of that air out. And we'll just do 2 more breaths like that. Inhaling fully, filling up the belly with air. And then opening the mouth, letting it go. One more time, allowing this breath to help you settle in here. And then just starting to settle into a nice, easy rhythm of your breath. Allowing it to create a little bit of energy in the body, but still allowing it to be really easy as we start to work in movement in different shapes here. And just taking some time to kind of settle the mind and settle the body, allowing the focus to be around whatever you're needing in this moment in your practice today. Whether it's just to create a little space in the mind and the body, whether you're needing or craving a more intense workout or movement this morning. Just taking some time for a little bit of focus. And really honoring where you're at in this moment. Spending just a couple more breaths here. Allowing that intention or focus to settle a little more deeply in the heart and the mind. Then we're going to start to hug knees in towards the chest. Just taking a moment, maybe finding a little movement side to side, drawing little circles with the knees. And then we're gonna bring the feet down. So taking them to the wide edges of your mat here, knees are bent. Arms are gonna come into this cactus arm shape. So creating a little goalpost with your arms, really opening up through the heart and the chest, pressing those shoulders down into the ground here, creating a little bit of space to the upper part of the body. We're just gonna find a gentle sway of the legs side to side. So dropping the knees over towards the right, and then moving them over towards the left. And we're gonna move through this little sway back and forth a few times here. Maybe you keep it really easy and the knees don't drop that far down. Maybe with each breath and each movement, they get a little closer to the ground. You choose how intense you want this shape and this twist to be. And then maybe the next time that the knees come over towards the right, you just pause there for a moment. And then we'll bring them back up through the center and then over towards the left, finding a little moment of pause, just a couple breaths here. And then we'll bring the knees back to center. We're gonna keep the arms where they're at in this goalpost shape and just start to bring the knees stacked over the hips here. So feet are kind of pressing out, a little 90-degree angle to the knees here. If you did not roll out your mat this morning to do any type of core work, then you can just hang out here, shoulders pressing down into the mat, keeping those knees stacked over the hips. If you're wanting a little bit more, we're going to start to drop the knees over towards the right. Maybe it comes all the way down, maybe it doesn't. Just know that we have to bring them right back up, and then we'll bring them back to center, and then taking them over towards the left, and then bringing them back to center. So we're going to move through this a couple times. You choose how far you want those knees to drop to the side. Each breath finding that movement out and then back in. We're going to move through this 2 more times on each side. This time as you come over towards the right, maybe you start to extend that left foot. And then as you bring it back to center, bending that knee over towards the left, maybe that right leg extends. Bending that knee, bringing it back. 1 more round each side. Maybe you play with extending both feet out. Bending the knee over to the left, last round here. Bringing it back to center. Hugging those knees in towards the chest 1 more time here. Starting to find that forward and back movement. We're going to come all the way up into a nice comfy seat. Settling into your seat here, we're going to take a nice big reach of the arms up towards the sky, pressing the palms together, bringing hands down to the heart. We'll move through that 1 more time. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands to heart. We're going to take a nice big reach of the arms up towards the sky, and then start to bring the arms directly forward. So fingertips are reaching forward. We're going to plug those shoulder blades back into the body. So just pulling the shoulders back, really engaging the shoulder blades here. We're going to interlock thumbs. You choose which thumb you want on top or bottom. So creating a little bit of resistance. Thumbs are pulling apart as you find that little bit of engagement. So if this feels like a lot, you can stay here. Or maybe you start to take those hands up towards the sky, any amount. And if they don't come back behind the head, that's okay. Just find that stopping point, that little bit of engagement that makes sense. Making sure that you're keeping that low belly, that core engaged, lengthening through the crown of the head. And then we'll bring them right back forward. We're gonna swap thumbs, whichever thumb was on top, switching it up here. This might create a little different sensation in the shoulders and the arms, and that's okay. So finding this little bit of force activation here, option to stay, or maybe you start to take those arms up towards the sky. Keeping that core engaged, keeping those thumbs actively pressing apart from each other. And then we'll bring those arms right back down. Releasing the thumbs, bringing hands down to the knees. We're gonna get into the neck a little bit here. So we're gonna start to drop the right ear towards that right shoulder, finding a little space here. And if you want a little bit more, you can start to reach that left hand out away from the body. So maybe those fingertips just come out to the side. And if those fingertips are out, we'll bring them right back to the knee. And just rolling the chin down towards the chest. And then we're gonna take it to the other side. Ear to shoulder, creating that space through the neck here. Option to stay where you're at, or maybe those right fingertips start to inch their way away from the body. We'll bring that hand back in if it's reaching out, rolling the chin down towards the chest, and just bringing it right back up on top of the spine. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands to heart. We're going to come over into table. So taking a moment to get set up, wrists below shoulders, knees below the hips. We're going to take a couple rounds of our cat-cow here. Inhale, drops the belly, lifts the heart. Exhale, rounding the back, pressing away. Moving through these shapes at your own pace. Pausing when you need to pause. Adding extra movement where it makes sense. We'll do one more round of this cat-cow here. Starting to find that nice neutral spine. Crown of the head's reaching forward. So we're gonna isolate this cat-cow movement to just the upper part of the shoulders here. So kind of puffing out the upper part of the shoulders, pressing away from the mat. And then pulling those shoulder blades together, heart reaches forward. So it's not this full movement of cat-cow. It's just isolated to the upper part of the shoulder. And then pulling those shoulder blades together as the heart presses forward. We'll do that 2 more times. Popping up in to the upper part of the back. And then shoulder blades pressing towards each other, heart presses forward. Finding that neutral table. We're going to start to tuck the toes here, and then lifting hips up and back, settling into our down dog. And just taking a couple breaths, moving in this shape. Maybe you bend to the knees, walking it out a little bit, finding any little movements that make sense and feel good. Waking up the body in this shape. We'll start to add a little bit of flow here. So as we inhale, we're just going to roll up onto the tiptoes. And then exhale, presses heels down and back. We'll move through this a couple times. Inhale to find that lift. Exhale to press it back. You can keep this movement going if you want a little more. As you inhale, maybe you roll forward to that plank. Exhale takes hips up and back. You choose what you need right now. And then we'll all come to meet in our down dog. We're going to roll forward to plank. Those knees are going to drop. Heart pulls forward, elbows bend straight back as you lower. Untucking the toes. Big shrug of the shoulders, baby cobra. We're going to roll down, bringing forehead down to the mat. We're going to turn the right cheek down to the floor here, and then start to bring that right arm straight out from the shoulder. So I'll come up so you can see. So that left arm's going to stay in, right arm's going to come straight out, palm down, but straight out from the shoulder in this shape. We're going to get into this shoulder space just a little bit. So as that arm is reaching out, we're going to use this left hand to just start to press the body away from the floor. Maybe that left leg stacks on top of the other. Maybe you bring it to stack behind. You choose how much intensity you want in this stretch. And then we're just going to roll it right back down to the mat. That left arm's going to come straight out from the shoulder. Right arm's going to come in by the body. We'll move to that, put the left cheek on the ground, and then we're going to find that same little bit of roll up away. Maybe that right leg stacks on top of the left. Maybe that foot plants behind. Breathing into the stretch. We'll roll right back to center. Bringing both those hands in towards the chest. Pressing back to table. Tucking toes, lifting hips, down dog. We'll take a nice deep bend to the knees, looking forward between the hands, walking or hopping forward, forward fold. And then bending into those knees, nice and slow roll all the way up. Once you're there, nice big reach, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Start to add a little bit of flow or movement here. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Hands are going to come to shins or tops of thighs. Nice flat back, halfway lift. Folding forward. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll move through that one more time here. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, nice big reach. We're going to start to pull the elbows apart, finding that kind of goalpost or cactus arm shape. And I want you to feel a few things here. So a lot of times when we come into this kind of heart opening shape, we get really sassy in the body. So see if you can keep the ribs knitted in or hugged in inward into the center as you feel this openness through the upper part of the heart and the chest. We're going to do some really slow, kind of deliberate movement in this shape. So we'll start to kind of pull those arms so the elbows are coming down towards the hips. Shoulder blades pulling in towards each other. And then once those elbows kind of reach the hips, we're just going to reach those arms right back up to the sky. So we'll do this 2 more times, taking it nice and slow. Elbows pull apart. Core is still engaged here. Feeling those shoulder blades coming towards each other. And then we'll reach right back up. One more time, just like that, pulling the elbows apart. Feeling all the sensations as you move through this. Nice big reach. Hands to heart. We'll start to add on here. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Right foot stays, left foot steps back. We're going to drop that back knee. Come all the way up into our low lunge. Settling in for a moment. Feeling connected to the ground through the feet and the knee. Feeling that little hug in of belly button to spine. Arms are going to reach forward. Right arm's going to sweep down and back, finding that twist. And then maybe you start to find a little bit of tilt. So that right arm reaches down towards the ground. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Can you still shift that weight forward into that front foot? We'll bring the arms right back up. Sweeping that right arm forward, hands to the sky. Hands will come down around the foot, lifting that back knee. We're stepping it back, down dog. With our inhale, rolling forward, finding that plank. We'll drop the knees one more time here. Heart pulls forward, elbows bend straight back as you lower. Untucking those toes. Maybe you keep this back bend really easy and low. If you want a little more, you can start to press up any amount. And then we'll take it back, down dog. Just a couple breaths here. That little bit of flow through that plank, lower back bend is your vinyasa. You have the option to take it or leave it every time. So maybe you feel like you want all the vinyasas today, and maybe not so much, and that's okay. You choose what you need as we come to that point. From our down dog, left foot's going to reach up and back, stepping it forward, dropping that back knee, coming on up, low lunge. Settling in for a breath here, feeling connected through the legs, feeling that little hug in of belly button to spine. Arms are going to reach forward. Right arm stays, left arm sweeps back, finding this twist. You can stay here, or maybe you start to find that little bit of tilt. Keeping the weight evenly through both the front and the back leg. We'll bring those arms right back. Sweeping that left arm forward, hands to the sky. Hands are going to come down around the foot, lifting that back knee and just stepping that back foot forward, forward fold. With our inhale, reaching up, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Left foot stays, right foot steps back. We're going to plant that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. So settling into your warrior one here, feeling solid through the feet. We're going to start to find a little tilt or lean forward. So just doing a quick check-in in this shape. If the low back is feeling really angry here, then you can keep everything upright and do all the same things that we're going to do, but keeping that solid base staying upright. If you feel okay leaning forward, we're going to start to pull those elbows apart. So same shape we did as we were standing, pulling those elbows down towards the hips, flying the arms behind, and then sweeping them back forward. We're gonna move through this a couple times, keeping it nice and slow, really feeling the sensations, pulling those shoulder blades towards each other. Elbows hug in, flying those arms behind, sweeping forward. One more time here. Sweeping those arms back forward, hands to the sky. Hands are gonna come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. 5 breaths your choice. You can move through that vinyasa, finding your plank, lower back bend. Maybe you just drop to table or come into a child's pose. Maybe you hang out in down dog. Choosing what you need in the moment. We'll come to meet in our down dog. If it makes sense, right foot reaches up and back, stepping it forward, planting that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. Settling in for a moment, feeling really solid in this shape. You know where we're headed, so if you know that your low back is gonna be cranky, stay here, do all that same movement. If you want that little extra bit of core work, we'll start to lean forward. Finding that core engagement, elbows pull apart, flying the arms behind, and then sweeping them forward. A few more times just like that. Keeping it nice and slow so you really can feel all of the things happening in the shoulders and upper part of the body. One more time. Pulling those elbows apart. Flying them behind, reaching forward. Hands to the sky. Hands are gonna come down around the foot. We're just stepping that back foot forward, forward fold. Taking a nice deep bend to the knees here. Maybe you grab opposite elbows, letting everything kind of hang out in this shape. We'll release the elbows. With our inhale, reaching up, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands, heart center. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands are gonna come to heart. We're gonna start to shift weight into the right foot. That left knee's coming up. So maybe you keep the toes on the ground. You choose how high you wanna bring that knee up. Taking a moment here to find the balance. You have the option to stay, or those arms can reach forward. We're gonna interlock the thumbs. Feeling that little bit of activation and engagement here. Fingertips can stay reaching forward, or maybe you start to press those hands to the sky. One more breath wherever you're at. We'll bring those hands right back down. Releasing the thumbs. That foot will come down, hands at our sides. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands to heart. Shifting weight to that left foot, right knee's coming up. So same options this side. You choose how high you want that knee to be. Pausing here in your balance for a moment. Option to stay, or those arms reach forward. If you can remember which thumb was on top or bottom, see if you can switch it up this time. staying here or maybe lifting those hands, whoop, any amount to the sky. If you fall out, that's okay. Just find it again. Reset where you need to. One more breath wherever you're at. Those hands will come back forward, releasing those thumbs, foot to the ground, hands at your sides. Pausing here for a moment, kind of turning those shoulders out. So hands and palms will face forward. A little rotation of the shoulder here. Eyes can close or gaze can drift to the floor. Checking back in with the breath. Maybe revisiting that focus or intention you set for class. We'll start to blink the eyes open. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Right foot stays, left foot steps back, planting that back heel. We're coming on up. Warrior one. Settling in for a breath. Then we're going to open it up. Warrior two. So taking a moment to settle in here, front heel, back arch alignment, arms are reaching nice and long, and making sure that our shoulders aren't living up by our ears. So just pulling those shoulders down, settling into this shape here. We're going to inhale, straighten that front knee, arms reach up. Warrior two. Inhale to lift. Warrior two. Flipping that front palm, finding our reverse. Coming forward, forearm to thigh, extended side angle. That top arm can reach straight up. Maybe you reach it forward. We'll bring it right back up, warrior two. Inhale to lift. Warrior two. Flipping that palm, finding our reverse. Extended side angle. Same options here. You choose what you need. Bringing it right back up, warrior two. Hands come down around that foot, stepping it back, down dog, any way you want to get there. 5 breaths, your choice. You can move through that vinyasa. You can settle into table or child's pose. Choosing what you need, leaving what you don't. We'll come to meet in our down dog. If it makes sense, right foot reaches up and back, stepping it forward. Planting that back heel, warrior one. Settling in for a breath. Opening it up, warrior two. Pausing here for a moment, again, checking in with those shoulders, seeing where they're wanting to live. Settling into the feet here, feeling really grounded. We're going to bring forearm to thigh, coming into that extended side angle, and we're going to keep this top arm reaching straight up to start. So we're going to get into a little bit of shoulder rotation in this shape here. So we're going to start to reach that arm. So turning the palm forward, reaching that arm forward, and then circling it down, back towards that back leg, and then right back up to the sky. So we're going to move through this a couple times, really trying to feel this rotation and this movement from deep up in the shoulder. So you feel this happening on your back, really getting into that sensation of rotation. Wherever you're at, we're just going to flip it and reverse it. So taking it back towards that back leg. reaching it forward. And then this next rotation that we move into, if there's a sweet spot that you're just really liking how it feels or wanting to hang out there, maybe you pause and just breathe in that space, or you can keep the movement of this arm going. Wherever you're at, we'll bring that arm right back up to the sky, bringing it back, warrior two. Hands are gonna come down around the foot. We're just gonna step that back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, folding forward. Inhale, reaches all the way up, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, nice big reach, folding forward. Halfway lift, folding forward. Left foot stays, right foot steps back, planting that back heel. We're coming on up into our warrior one. Settling in for a breath here. Feeling really grounded in the feet. And then we're gonna open it up, warrior two. Again, checking in with those shoulders, seeing where they're living. Inhale, straightens that front knee, arms reach up. Warrior two. Inhale to lift. Warrior two. Flipping that front palm, finding our reverse. Bringing forearm to thigh, extended side ankle. You choose where that top arm wants to live this round. We'll bring it right back up, warrior two. Inhale to find that lift. Warrior two. Finding our reverse. Forearm to thigh. Bringing it right back up, warrior two. Hands are gonna come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. You choose movement or stillness. Maybe you find that vinyasa. Maybe you hang out in table or child's pose. We'll all come to meet in our down dog. Left foot reaches up and back, stepping it forward. Planting that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. And then we'll open it up, warrior two. Inhale to lift, warrior two. Forearm's gonna come to thigh. That top arm will reach straight up. So we're gonna start to turn that palm towards the front and then start to move into these rotations again. So same thing on this side, keeping it nice and slow, feeling this from deep up in the shoulder. And then wherever you're at, we're just gonna flip it and reverse it. So taking it back, reaching it forward, and then back towards that back leg. Each shoulder is gonna feel a little different. So just giving space for what this side is needing. And then maybe you pause in a spot that feels good. Breathe there, or you can keep that rotation happening. Wherever you're at, we're gonna bring it right back up, warrior two. Hands come down around the foot, stepping that back foot forward, forward fold. With our inhale, nice big reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands are going to come to heart. So we're going to put some of these pieces together for our last little standing posture. So starting both feet on the ground, making sure you feel really solid and connected and grounded through the feet. We're going to bring hands to the hips, just kind of pulling the shoulders back. So almost like they're pulling towards each other. Someone's kind of helping find that lift through the heart here. We're going to start to shift weight into the right foot. That left knee is going to come up. And then we're going to start to just kind of kick it back towards the bum. So right hand's going to stay on the hip. This left hand is going to start to reach back for that foot. So maybe it finds the foot, maybe it finds yoga pants, and that's okay. But trying to find that openness through the shoulder here with whatever you've got a hold of for this shape. So feeling that little bit of openness through the heart, that little bit of rotation in the shoulder. This right hand can stay on the hip. You can also bring hand to the heart. Front of the body is facing forward. And we're just going to start to press that foot back into the hand. So we're coming into dancer pose. So dance, that can be here. This is still, just put a little dance into it. This counts. Or you can press that foot any amount here. If you have a wall handy, you can also use your wall to help with balance a bit. But seeing if you can find that openness, that little bit of rotation in the shoulder, wherever you're at. And then we'll just gently bring it right back. Bring that foot back to the ground. Nice big reach. Pulling those elbows apart, finding that little lift through the heart here. Reaching right back up. Hands to heart. Hands are going to come back to the hips. Same thing here. Pulling those elbows towards each other. This time we're shifting weight into that left foot. Bringing that right knee up. We'll start to kick that foot back towards the bum. Using that right hand, again, reaching for that foot. So maybe you find the foot, maybe you find yoga pants, maybe you just have that action of reaching back, even if you're not grabbing anything. But finding that little bit of rotation in that shoulder, that openness through the heart. Left hand can stay on the hip. Maybe you bring it to the heart. Staying here or pressing that foot back into the hand. Finding your version of dancer. Remember, if you dance a little out of this shape, still counts. Just a little extra funky, and that's okay. One more breath wherever you're at. We'll start to bring it right back in. Bringing that foot down. We're just going to bring hand over heart, allowing the eyes to close, gaze to drift to the ground. Starting to blink the eyes open. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Folding forward. We're going to bend the knees a lot here so that hands can come down on the mat. We're just stepping it back into our down dog. Option for one more vinyasa if you want it. And then wherever you're at, we're all going to drop the knees, taking them nice and wide, settling the hips all the way back, coming into our child's pose. We'll start to gently press up, bringing those hands back towards the knees. We're going to come all the way down into a nice comfy seat. Just settling into a comfy seat here for a moment. Taking a nice big reach of the arms up towards the sky. Hands to heart. We're going to start to reach the right arm across the body, just using that left hand. It can be out on the hand, forearm, or the arm, but we're just finding a little bit of stretch across the body here. So it's the same shape we usually do from table, just a little extra ease since we're seated. Keeping the torso forward, just really letting this outer part of the shoulder find a little stretch here. And we'll just gently let that go. Same thing other side. So left arm will reach out, reaching it across the body, using that right hand for a little extra help. Maybe taking a moment to recognize the little differences between each side here, how things feel easier or maybe a little more crunchy or tight. Making adjustments that you need to for this to be comfortable. And then we'll just gently let it go. We're going to bring feet straight out in front. So we're going to come into a shape that for some might be really easy and comfortable. For some, it might not. I'm one of those might not human, so that's okay. It's good to practice. And there's lots of options here. So we're going to start to bend this left knee and kind of cross it over. So the side of the left foot is coming out, so it's rested. You want this to be comfortable. The knees are kind of stacked over each other here. So this is option one. This might be enough and a lot. So you can stay here. If you're wanting a little bit more, maybe you bend that right foot and settle back in. But if you're bending that right foot, if your hip is not fully supported on the ground, then just bring that leg right back out. You want both the hips to be really firmly planted here, really solid in whichever shape you're choosing. So either option, hanging out here. We're going to take a nice big reach of the arms up towards the sky and then bringing them out into a T shape. Right arm is going to reach up, bending at the elbow, and just kind of like you're giving yourself a cute little pat on the back. And then turning that left hand to face behind, scooping it behind. So maybe you find fingertips here. Maybe you just grab the back of your shirt, but keeping that elbow kind of up close towards the head, finding this openness, a little bit of rotation in the shoulders. Keeping the spine really tall. Sometimes when we get in this shape, we kind of start to like hunch over. So see if you can keep everything really active here. And if you're wanting more wherever you're at, maybe you start to fold forward. Still keeping the spine tall. Finding that fold deep in the hip crease. Just getting a little pretzel-y this morning. Wherever you're at, we'll bring it right back up. Gently releasing those arms, shaking it out a little bit. We'll bring the legs back so they're straight out in front. shake them out as well. And then we're going to come into this on the other side. So that right leg will cross, so that outside of that right foot is resting on the ground. Maybe if you want to bend that left knee, you can. Again, just making sure the hips are firmly supported and planted into the ground here. Pausing here wherever you're at for a moment. And then we'll take a nice big reach with the arms to the sky. Finding that T shape. This time, left arm's gonna come up, bending at the elbow, finding that little back pat, turning that right hand, scooping it behind, and just settling into this on this side. So each side's a little different. Maybe you can find that hand clasp. Maybe you're just grabbing the shirt. You choose, just making sure that it's comfortable. There's a little bit of ease to it here. Keeping the spine nice and tall. And if you want to find that tilt or fold forward, that's an option. Or you can just keep everything nice and tall here. And we'll bring it right back up, gently releasing those arms, shaking them out. And then we'll just bring the legs straight out in front. We're gonna bend the knees. And then from here, we're just rolling all the way down to our back. Once you're there, hugging the knees in towards the chest. Maybe you find a little movement side to side. Maybe you keep it nice and easy and still. We're going to plant those feet again. So taking the feet to the wide edges of your mat. Knees are bent. Arms are going to come into that cactus arm shape again. If it's more comfortable to come into the T shape, that's an option. But if it feels okay, bringing those arms back into a goalpost. Shoulders are pressing down towards the mat. And we're going to start to drop the knees over towards the right. Settling in here, feeling that little bit of release in the body. If this wide leg version of a twist is just your least favorite thing ever, then you can also hug the knees in and drop them over to the right, finding that same twist shape. You choose what you need. We're going to breathe here for a few more breaths. If you're wanting a little extra stretch, maybe you lift that right foot, placing it gently on that left knee. If you get it there and it's just not for you, then let it go. And then if you have that foot on the knee, just gently releasing it, pausing for a moment, and then bringing the knees back to center. We're going to take the knees over to the left. Same thing here. Taking some time to settle into this shape on the other side. Still feeling the shoulders pressing down into the mat, feeling that openness through the heart. Feeling that stretch and release through the body. If you want that extra little bit of stretch, maybe you lift that left foot, placing it gently on the right. If you have that foot on the knee, just start to let it go, pausing for a moment, bringing those knees back to center, and taking any extra movement that you might need here before you settle into our final shape. But if you're ready, letting the feet stretch out, maybe the arms come out to the sides, or finding a comfortable shape, whether it's seated or laying on your belly, and just settling into the stillness and the quiet. As you start to find that comfy shape that you're in, we're going to come back to those nice deep breaths that we started our practice with. So inhaling fully into the belly, opening the mouth, letting it go. We'll take a couple more breaths just like that. Nice full inhale. Opening the mouth, letting all the air out. Using as many as those breaths as you need to just settle back into the stillness here. Revisiting that intention or focus. We'll slowly start to deepen the breath and the body, bringing your awareness back to the space, finding little movements, maybe swaying the head side to side, little movements in fingers and toes. Taking your time here. As you're ready, rolling to either side. At your own pace, making your way to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed, hands at heart center. I want to thank you all so much for sharing this space and this moment this morning together, bearing with me through some technology complications. The light within me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Awesome. Thanks everyone again for being patient with me as we sorted out the sound issues. I'm glad to know that I make a wonderful robot if and when I sound like a robot. Just a quick update or announcement. If you haven't donated already for class and you are wanting to, 100% of our donations are going to the Mid-Valley Wildfire Relief Fund, which is being supported through United Way. So if you feel inclined to donate, if you already donated and want to donate some more, we greatly appreciate it. Everything that you are willing to give and share to kind of help our community members in need right now. We have class scheduled at Rogue tomorrow if you're registered. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on air quality and weather. So we'll be sure to update everyone if that changes. And same with our classes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we have a few more things coming up this next week that we'll just keep an eye on as we get closer. hopefully this sun decides to stay and the air decides to be beautiful and wonderful. So, real Jamie over robot Jamie. Thank you, Cheryl and Jerry. That's good to know. Namaste, Debbie and Summer. Thank you so much, Rachel and Bill. Thank you, Pam. And Yulia, it's so good to have you here. Thank you so much. So thank you all again so much for sharing this morning with me. It's definitely how I like to start the weekend. So I'm grateful and appreciative of all of you here. Thank you, Danny. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone. And I hope that I see you all either virtually or in person soon. Cheers.